Black Mountain Institute at UNLV. They've been around 20 years, and we are celebrating with so many events this year. And on November 18th, you could join comedian Maz Jobrani for a conversation at the UNLV Student Union Theater. He's going to discuss how humor can help us move through the world with BMI City of Asylum fellow and amazing poet Miriam Allah Amjadi. Free tickets are going to go quickly, so you want to visit blackmountaininstitute.org to get yours now. That's blackmountaininstitute.org.
Good morning. It's time for your Friday News Roundup. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm here with Nevada Independent Opinions editor Andrew Corrali and my co-host David Figler. And we're talking about how one of our senators cast a decisive vote that ended the shutdown, a housekeeping competition, and the disappointing news about the T.I. pirate show. It's Friday, November 14th. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Good morning, David. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey, hey.
Howdy, hi.
All right, it is a hot and heavy news week. We've got a lot going on. We're going to do our best to cover it all, but several of these stories are developing. So first and foremost, in our hot headline. I like the echo there.
Thanks.
So we've got two major stories that have come out from Fortune about Elon Musk's Boring Company. I'm going to do the best I can to quickly summarize them both, but you should, if you live in this valley, you should go to fortune.com and check out this coverage. So first of all, the Boring Company has been fined nearly $500,000 after it dumped toxic drilling fluids into Las Vegas manholes. So let me be clear, the drilling fluids in the citation from the county appear to refer to the toxic liquid that collects in the bottom of the tunnels as Boring's machinery drills through earth and rock. These are chemicals that have burned workers on previous occasions. We're going to get back to that in just a second.
I have to say,
yes, David.
allegedly, because that's still pending. But yeah, that there was a lot of evidence which we've reviewed, which is in support of that.
And that line, by the way, was directly from Fortune's reporting,
Correct.
as is most of this, too. So here's the deal. An inspector showed up from the Clark County Water Reclamation District at one of the Boring Co.'s sites, saw them dumping this hazardous material into our manholes, into our water supply. The inspector said, don't do that. They didn't stop doing it. He came back with a citation to force them to stop. They pretended to stop, quote unquote, feigned compliance. And then when the inspector left, they continued dumping this hazardous waste product into the manholes.
The inspector hid behind the curtain and then was like, gotcha.
Peeked out behind a bush. Yeah, I don't know how they caught them. Probably it's actually citizens. It was citizens that reported this happening in the first place. Yeah. And I'm sure it was the same person being like, you are not going to believe this, but they are dumping it in a manhole again. So after we read about this story, Fortune just dropped another article that, okay, so this hazardous caustic chemical has allegedly burnt Boring employees as well as firefighters who are working in the tunnels too. And
during
OSHA,
during fire drills. They're
during
like,
fire
to
drills,
prove that everything is safe.
Right.
they were burned by these corrosive chemicals.
And Fortune showed pictures of those burns, and they are gruesome.
Yeah, so OSHA, we've covered this previously, cited Boring for these worker violations, for the physical trauma that people were enduring in the tunnels. Apparently, though, those citations and fines have disappeared after a meeting between Boring and the governor's office, and then the governor's office tried to eliminate any records of that meeting.
That's also alleged. The governor denies that he personally asked for anything to be removed, but the Fortune story said stuff had disappeared and they had to recreate calendar meetings and stuff.
Yeah. Alleged. Get on fortune.com. Yeah, I know this is like we're obsessed with our villain bully here on CityCast Las Vegas, but every time something comes out, it's just like, damn, it feels like these people do not have our best interests in mind.
Well, what I'm obsessed with, Sarah, is why CityCast Las Vegas is one of the few, if only local outlets that is keeping an eye on this huge citywide project and the government's acquiescence in these type of things to not just happen, but continually happen as though it were a pattern.
Yeah, one of our local newsy Instagram accounts seems to love boring and is always posting a lot of positive stuff with no balance. The
Well,
comments section doesn't love it though.
I also want to say on the day after Fortune broke the first part of their story, the RJ did run a boring story about how cool it's going to be that they're going to be
Right.
without drivers soon. So
And there's
no mention
Cybertrucks.
whatsoever.
Surprise.
No mention whatsoever of these huge allegations.
Okay, and we've got like also another 10-second extra follow-up mini hot headline, but it's an extra hot headline.
Yeah,
David, what's our extra
mini
hot
hot
headline today?
Yeah, the bonus hot headline is the special session has started, and all the speculation
In the Nevada legislature.
in the Nevada legislature, and all the speculation over what was going to be on the agenda for extraordinary circumstances, because that's what is required for a special session, because it's quite expensive, $100,000 a day of taxpayer money.
It seems like a bargain, honestly.
Well, but I'll tell you, it's a kitchen sink. There are at least 16 different items. I don't even know how long it's going to take for them to hash through any of it. But the highlights are the governor's crime bill, which no one asked for, and the film tax credit bill, which just will not, like a zombie apocalypse film, throwback to yesterday's episode, like a zombie apocalypse, that film tax credit issue will not die.
And I know that you are going to be covering that. We've got an episode coming out next week, David, on the special sesh, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to take a second to digest it. It's a lot. We have a lib and a conservative who are both going to give their takes on all the agenda items that Governor Lombardo has set forward.
And I'm sure we'll continue to hit the major topics in our Friday News Roundup. Okay, woof. Andrew, thanks for standing by. You want to comment?
That was a great episode. That was a great episode.
Thanks.
I really enjoyed it.
We did it.
See you next time.
We're just gonna have you on as our hype man for every episode we record from now on.
There we go. There we go.
Now we're getting into our planned news of today. And in other major national news, the government is back and badder than ever? Question mark.
Yeah, back on track.
Back on track.
Project 2025. It's happening.
It's happened, yo. It was one of our senators that was the deciding vote in ending the shutdown. David, tell me more.
Yes, Jackie Rosen, frequent guest on CityCast Las Vegas. Look, after a shutdown that lasted 43 days, historically unprecedented, neither side was budging, but things were happening. SNAP benefits, food assistance, was cut off for people, and the Trump administration refused to dig into the contingency fund that was set up for such events.
And tried to stop states from doing it, too.
Correct. Prompting tons of lawsuits. This was playing out in the courts. As far as the standoff goes, it wasn't just two people staring at each other. It was one side actively making it far more uncomfortable for the other side to hold out. And look, a lot of us wanted to see how this would play out if neither side kind of caved. And yet one side did cave, and that was the Dems. Most pivotally by our Democrat U.S. Senator, Jackie Rosen, who cited lots of reasons why she decided that it was time to vote for the spending bill and reopen the government. Noteworthy one interviewed by both the Nevada Independent and some reporting in the Nevada Current was that she had talked to federal worker constituents. They were suffering hard, but maybe most importantly, even as SNAP was starting to flow back to the people again, so that kind of chip was taken off of the standoff table, she got a letter from our friends, the LVCVA, people who brought you the boring tunnels and the A Stadium and other things that they advocate for and or pay for, sent her a letter and said, look, Vegas can't survive without free-flowing tourism, and with TSA officers off and travel being limited, we've got big events like F1, which has to succeed, and we need people to bring their money here.
Allegedly.
So please, Jackie Rosen, it seems, vote for the shutdown to end, and then you could have whatever fights over healthcare extensions, et cetera, as time progresses. But it's too dangerous for basically Las Vegas resort industries
But
which
the healthcare subsidies, they're out, right?
they're not
I mean,
right. So part of it was a weirdly structured deal. There's some real odd poison pills in there, including the ability for senators to sue for millions of dollars against the government collectively for allegedly infringing their rights during the January 6th investigations. Look, this whole thing is a big mess. The big takeaways were that federal employees are rehired, that back pay is going to flow, that SNAP is back on the, SNAP is back happening. And maybe most importantly is that the healthcare issue is promised to be brought to a
Pinky
vote.
promised.
Yeah, whatever. And I want to add that SNAP is snapping. The government is crapping. So, Andrew, do you feel that Las Vegas was at a breaking point? Like things needed to shift or we were going to collapse in a sinkhole? Like, do you think Rosen could have held out a little longer?
I think she could have. And, the moral calculus of the resolution of the shutdown is super complicated. And I can see, some of the more sort of like broad reasoning that, hey, this leverage that the Democrats had during the shutdown was, real people suffering, missed paychecks, hungry children. But it does seem really untoward and weird that this pressure from the LVCVA and the Vegas economy in the form of most immediately F1 was, the sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. And so I feel like the optics are kind of awkward and unfortunate. And I wish there, was a bit more, nuanced reasoning behind it. But yeah, and it's fascinating to me because there's all these, and I kind of want to throw it back to David because, there are different sort of characterizations of this. Is that a Republican shutdown, a Democratic shutdown, a mutually hyper-partisan shutdown? And yeah, so the sort of the calculus of it is complicated.
Well, and of course, Rosen's calculus is she doesn't want to lose the support of her constituents. But I feel like, is the LVCVA, blah, 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 blah. I never remember all the letters. The Las Vegas Casino and Visitors Authority.
Convention and Visitors Authority, but it might as well be Casino and Visitors Authority.
Yeah.
Strip City.
I mean, are those her constituents? Or, like,
Look, everyone buys into the myth, which may or may not be true, that if gaming drops even a little bit, we're all doomed. Right? Because we don't have a diversified economy. And there are some truths to that, but there's also like no incentive for us to not necessarily F around and find out, but like alter our behavior or do things to inoculate.
It seems like gaming benefits 15 people who own casinos, not me.
Well,
am I wrong on that?
The argument is it trickles across.
Right. But it wasn't like, if it was a letter from a single mom who said, Senator Rosen, I am struggling. I am running out of food for my
health care
children,
benefits cannot go up. They can't double or triple. My premiums can't double or triple.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, but it wasn't that kind of letter. It was from, it was a sort of, subtly stern letter from the LVCVA.
Well, and the airlines as well. I mean, look, Jackie Rosen's line is that she wasn't overly influenced by these things. These were all just factors, but that she just couldn't bear to see the suffering of people while the Republicans weren't playing fair or nice to be prolonged, and that, we're going to hit this again next year. And so might as well let's end the suffering. 43 days was enough.
Here, it's
That's
long,
her position.
Unprecedented long, right? And of course, we've, for the past year, basically since Trump took office, we've had the discussion about, is Vegas dead? People aren't coming here. The stats are out. So if people can't fly here, they're also not going to come here. So I can understand the impacts, the furthering impacts of this shutdown and a lack of air traffic controllers. But like, here's my next point. What we're really talking about is short-term versus long-term consequences, right? The short-term consequences were people did not have food, but now we're looking at these longer-term consequences, including the loss of those federal subsidies for marketplace healthcare plans, which, full disclosure, I am on. My healthcare is going to go to Andrew Corrali, living the freelance life out here, right? So my healthcare is slated to go from $65 a month to $265 a month, which is...
That's because you're young, vibrant, and healthy. If I were to have to go back on the exchange, I'm not even going to tell you what my premium per month is.
Well, yeah, I just have no faith that the pinky promise that they're going to address healthcare, down the road or by January is it's a mirage. And so I think it's going to be, Lucy and the football all over again.
And we're Americans, so we have short attention span theaters. So it's always going to be short-term satisfaction over long-term planning. That's Vegas in a nutshell in a lot of ways.
Fair, yeah.
But, look, a lot of people are saying, oh, they're all playing chess. Maybe they're playing checkers. They're freaking playing dodgeball with authoritarianism. And, I think a lot of people were interested. Look, there was going to be a lot of suffering for people who are in vulnerable positions. That suffering will continue no matter what. But with the shutdown, it was enhanced. And a lot of people were standing by, myself included, like wondering how do you stand up to this sort of like unfair, no negotiation, our way or the highway, which is going to hurt the people in the long run. And one side gave in. And that's just the bottom line here. And they might have had all the most benevolent reasons because they didn't want their people to suffer in the interim, which understandable. But now we just kind of don't know if it happens again, where we come to this sort of impasse. The Trump administration is going to say, like, they're going to cave. We don't have to do anything. So this actually sets a precedent of future showdowns being, again, very one-sided. And that's unfortunate, but who knows how this would have turned out.
So I kind of want to wrap this up by asking this big question, like, what is a state's representative obligation to their state versus the country, right? There's an obligation to both, so which one takes priority and when?
Bam, dropping the big bomb.
That was a big bomb. I mean, a United States senator ultimately is responsible to their constituents, but, they're a player in the national conversation. And that's a tricky balance, which is why normal people don't run for office. You've got to be of a certain ilk. Not to say that
seriously.
They're abnormal, but there's a lot of similar personality traits across the country when it comes to our elected officials.
Definitely.
Which are, not always a good skill set for decision making, I would say.
Yeah.
Rosen was in a tough position, right? And it's end suffering now with the possibility of future suffering on the table. So I mean it's complicated. It just sucks that legislation is subject to these political games that use human lives and human suffering as leverage. And so I just sort of find myself very naively wishing there was a different way.
The super famous, family-friendly sketch comedy group JK Studios is coming to Las Vegas. It's November 15th at 7 p.m. at the UNLV Performing Arts Center. This is the group that started Studio C 12 years ago out of BYU and became an internet sensation. They also brought you the movie Go West and classic sketches like Scott Sterling, The Crayon Song, and Lobster Bisque. Do yourself a favor and check those out on YouTube. Right now, you could use the promo code FAM15 to get 15% off of tickets to their first Las Vegas show. It's the perfect comedy performance for families with kids ages 5 and up, where you'll see hilarious new sketches and a wicked Harry Potter mashup musical that's sure to delight. Visit jkstudios.com to find tickets to their show on November 15th and see all of their upcoming tour dates around the country. What better way to light up your holiday season than with a 50% off admission to the Neon Museum? Yeah, you'll get that at the Mecca of Illumination just by booking in person with your Nevada ID. Half off to explore Vegas history through the glow of vintage neon signs, many of which have been painstakingly and beautifully restored. Just swing by the box office, show your Nevada ID, and you're in. One ticket per valid ID. No promo codes, no online hoops to jump through, just a classic old-school locals first deal. And now it's extended through December 31st, so the perfect time to start a new tradition surrounded by glowing vintage Vegas signs. Make it a night with friends, bring visiting family, or finally check that one off your Vegas bucket list. They're also going to be open on Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, so you can experience the magic of Las Vegas history the entire holiday season. So go do it. Visit the Neon Museum and let the lights of old Vegas shine for you.
So we're going to move on to something that I didn't know about, even though it's been hosted here for 35 years.
Oh, yeah.
Same. Yeah.
I know all about it.
Karali, tell us
Okay.
about the Housekeeping Olympics.
Yeah, I got to say this was kind of a discovery for me as well, and I was born and raised here, so I have to confess that I wasn't familiar with the Housekeeping Olympics. So yeah,
It's because you've
so
never
talk
worked
about
a day with your hands, Andrew. You're just
I
a
know.
thinker.
Soft
I
hands.
Soft
know,
hand,
I know
Karali.
exactly. Soft,
That's not
my
true.
soft, clammy writer hands. Yeah, so. Talk about a case of bedhead. So on Monday night, 10 housekeeping teams from strip properties as well as local
Oh,
businesses.
Andrew, you really
per-
slipped that pun in there. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
you
Do
like
you want
that?
to
Yeah.
do you want to hit it a little harder and we'll react?
No, I don't need to react to every pun.
Yeah.
There's plenty
Yeah, coming in
aggregate
for that, but-
reacting.
The warm,
Okay,
the heart
go on.
light flashing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
on Monday night, 10 housekeeping teams from strip properties as well as local businesses off the strip participated in the 35th annual, mind-blowing, 35th annual
Yeah.
Housekeeping Olympics at Mandalay Bay. And so, imagine, this is at like the Michelob Ultra Arena. So imagine basically like a sort of gymnast style,
It's
face off
huge.
with these competitions with these different teams. And so they are doing everything from like bed making, there's a vacuum race, there's something called a buffer pad toss. I guess is that a pad that's in your bed or something? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
A mop relay and even a spirit dance competition. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. I watched some of the videos. I was so inspired. I remade my bed this morning with hospital corners. So very inspiring videos. Yeah, so the overall winner was Arya Vidara. If you want quality beds and
Turning those rooms over
and
fast.
especially clean rooms, they're the one to beat. And Resorts World came in second, but surprise third. Staples Business came in third place for overall winner. So
What?
I can't wait to check out how well the beds are made at Staples.
At
So this is
Staples for my little
Why would they
naps.
even want to be? Well, maybe because they had some ringers. Maybe they had some old
Yeah.
culinary workers.
So cool event. Recognizes the city's guest room attendants and Enviro services
you
people. And
really make your bed with hospital corners today?
No, I actually don't even really technically know what a hospital corner is.
My mom
And
is
technically,
always
he's
yelling at me.
moving, so I don't think he even has a bed.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
still sleep. He has to sleep somewhere.
I'm sleeping
Futon.
on a monkish pallet.
Oh,
So,
God. Listen, my mom is always yelling at me about hospital corners, and I can't do them. Like, that's the competition I would lose for sure. Listen, let me ask you this.
Sure.
It's an unusual event. Why should we be celebrating this type of work?
Yeah, it's obviously great marketing for Las Vegas. It shines, a deserved spotlight on the hard work that guest room attendants do. But I think the cool thing about this is the fact that it's an Olympic style competition. It reminds us that the work of these guest room attendants and the Enviro services people, it's like no small feat, right? This requires strength, it requires stamina, it requires discipline. So it's easy to take this kind of work for granted or dismiss it as, menial labor. So I
Often
appreciate
don't see it happening when you're staying in a
Exactly.
resort. Yeah.
Yeah. So this elevates it into the realm of competitive sport, and deservedly so. So I think that's pretty cool.
I hear in your voice that this might be a weird exploitation of labor in
No, I actually don't feel that way.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I do
no.
think it's a celebration, and obviously people are willing participants, at least as far as we know. And it is fun to highlight, what Vegas does in a lot of ways better than most places,
This actually
Yeah.
reminded me of, I don't know if y'all know that Gilroy, California is famous for garlic production. It makes
They
like
are.
most of
They
the-
have the big garlic festival every year.
Did not
And
know.
at that festival, they have what's called a garlic topping competition, and it is literally the ag workers competing in processing garlic. And it's this
Wow.
huge event that's really celebrated because it literally celebrates egg workers. So there's big cash prizes too, but like you get to see this work that the everyday person doesn't normally get to see.
It's so important to pull back that curtain
Yeah.
and see what's happening in those rooms,
Listen,
Yep.
Yeah.
here's what really surprised me about this event, because it feels like in the era of ice, we're getting less
Mhm.
joyful moments like this. Because let's be real, like our workers doing this behind the scenes work at our resorts are largely immigrant populations.
Yep.
And a lot of gatherings like this have been canceled recently out
Yeah.
of fear that there's going to be ice raids.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. I'm glad you said
it
that.
both like broke my heart and warmed my heart too to see this all happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most Vegas question I can ask is should there be betting odds on the competitions?
Oh,
Betting on
God.
betting.
Enough
Betting on betting?
betting. I'm over everything being bet on nowadays. I just want
Okay, so no.
one pure event.
Pure
So
competition, no money involved.
exactly. Yeah, keep it
Okay,
pure.
well then,
Stay gold, stay gold.
I mean, would there be insider information? It's like, oh,
a ringer who doesn't
Agnes,
work at Aria.
or Agnes's ankles are swelling. Definitely bet against the circus team.
Oh, like some tips.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you,
Whoa.
if you don't want to bet on this, what Vegas-oriented sport do you think you could win a
Ooh.
gold medal at?
Well, I already do excel at martini lifting.
Oh, mm-hmm.
I would excel at orange cone dodging. I've become very good at that in
Mm.
recent years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
awkward conversation avoiding, if that was
Oh,
a
yeah. No, that's a good one. I feel like we could compete. What about you, David?
Cranky rants. I think I'm
Mhm.
untouchable.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold medal.
Hotel and casino maneuverability. I can move through any
yeah,
space
okay.
faster than anyone. You got a place for me to get to. I know the secret entrance. I know where to park. I got that
Yeah,
all
that's true.
wired.
Oh yeah. We
So
call 'em the
yeah,
ninja
race
routes.
me.
Yeah.
Race me. Yeah.
I think you would both take gold and silver in reminiscing about the 49-cent breakfast.
Oh, nostalgia.
I feel like that's
yeah,
one of your
that's
strengths.
Oh, yeah.
Nostalgia.
The Nostalgia
Yeah.
Olympics. We
Nostalgia
I
wallowing.
actually remember the first Nostalgia Olympics. That was such a better.
David, that was funny. That was
Thanks.
subtle. That was funny.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Thank
I
you.
didn't laugh,
No,
but
it's
I'm
okay. You
congratulating
laughed inside and you smiled with your young face.
I did. My young 43, almost 44-year-old face.
Glowing.
I think my gold medal is solicitation denial. I live in a walkable neighborhood. A lot of people
that
are
kind of
knocking on my
solicitation.
doors.
Okay,
yes,
sorry.
not the
I was
other
like,
one.
Where are you going
No,
with that?
churches, cell phones, solar panels, water testing. I found out that in Henderson City Code, if you have a no solicitors sign up, it's illegal for them to knock on your door. So now if
Dang.
someone dares
Call
to
the
knock,
cops.
I give them the business. I say, I
Wow.
could call the police on you. And like one lady actually she was from a church. She said, but I'm not selling anything. And I'm like, that's not what solicitation means. Don't knock on my
You're
door.
hustling your God on me.
I know. And I was like, just so you know, you should not be able to do it. All right. All right. Well, great. I will see you on the playing field.
You know, when most of us want to learn a new language, it's not because we're dying to memorize grammar tables or ace a quiz. It's because we actually want to speak it out in the real world with real people. And that's what Babbel is great at, getting you there fast. Hey, it's Michael Zibiak, Chief Revenue Officer here at CityCast. My daughter's a senior in high school, and after graduation, we're taking a father-daughter trip to Spain. And right now, my Spanish is, let's just say, very high school level. Shout out to Senior Patty from Syosset High School. You tried. When we're in Spain, I'd love to do more than just ask where the bathroom is. I want to be able to chat with locals, order tapas, and actually connect, not just read the menu and point. So I'm starting with Babbel. It's all about small steps, big wins, and it's super easy to fit into my life. Honestly, with how busy things get here at CityCast, I love that Babbel's bite-sized, 10-minute lessons fit right into my day, between meetings or over my morning coffee. I'm excited to pick up some real-world Spanish before we go, so we can experience Spain like locals, not tourists. Doesn't that sound better? Right now, Babbel's got a special deal for our listeners. Get up to 55% off your subscription at babbel.com/citycast. That's BABBEL.com/citycast for up to 55% off. Rules and restrictions may apply. Gracias and adios.
So speaking of nostalgia, honestly, there were rumors flying this week that the pirate show was going to come back to the lagoon in front of TI, formerly Treasure Island, but they hipped themselves up at some point and it's now just T.
T.I.
However, guys, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
I know, I'm
it's not
bummed.
happening.
I'm not
Or
disappointed,
maybe it
no.
is. Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
So this is from reporting from 8 News Now. Treasure Island issued the following statement to them. They said, while Treasure Island Hotel and Casino is pleased with the energy and excitement surrounding the story that the original pirate show will return in 2026, there is no truth to these rumors. Okay, but the rumors came from this woman named Kelly Warnell, who's the CEO of talent agency Screen Masters International. And so 8 followed back up with her because she had said on October 28th that she wanted to bring the pirate show back, and that's how it like escalated into this. But she then responded to Fox News 8, and said, "We've held multiple meetings with Treasure Island and can confirm that pirates will return in some form on October 2nd, 2026.
Yeah, who cares?
So what we know is the original pirate show is not coming back in 2026, but the pirates will return in some form in October 2026.
Yeah, some low-rent Jack Sparrow walking around the casino hassling tourists. Who needs it?
I mean, didn't they already change it once from pirates to like a siren show? So it was like boobies on the strip, right?
Yeah, it was the TI
Ish.
sirens.
Did you ever? You didn't see the show, Sarah. You're
No, this
new
is my
to the
question.
It was actually pretty well. The original pirate show was pretty well done, I thought.
Agree to disagree. Disagree, Andrew
I
Crowley.
first came here in 2008. I think the pirates were still running. Maybe it was sirens at that point, but I didn't see it. So, like, why is it so beloved in Las Vegas?
So I may be confabulating, and I may be like tapping an invented memory, but I remember when they had like the battle, right? Remember the two ships would battle, right?
Yeah.
It was the Britannia or whatever,
Right.
The pirate ship. But when they would fire the cannons, the pirates didn't just like tumble over the ship, didn't they? Like acrobatically leap
they
to
were
their
definitely
watery demise.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty Vegas. Pretty
short
cool.
of Cirque du Soleil level athleticism.
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't. Yeah, but I thought it was suitable for a suitable piece of eye candy, a spectacle candy for the strip.
And then there was the siren show. Yeah, that came.
Boobies.
Yeah, I mean, ish, and really, really, really bad dialogue that was over the crackly loudspeaker. The famous line from it, Sarah, was one of
the pirate show or the siren show?
The siren show was, and this is all outdoors, right? This is in the frontage of the Treasure Island.
On the strip.
On the strip, more or less, because everything's all blocked off now, et cetera. But the dialogue that is most memorable was one of the pirates said to one of the sirens, "Yo ho ho," and her response over the crackly loudspeaker was, "Who you calling a hoe?" It was that level of sophistication.
It's a little funny.
But hey, they know their audience.
Yeah.
But like, it was free.
It
right?
was free,
so, like,
and it was dorky. And like when they did have guys like falling into the water and stuff, I guess that was pretty cool. I mean, look, this is a time when every hotel was sort of lobbying for an attraction, the Mirage Volcano,
right,
which had its own, limitations in my mind.
Yeah,
although
90s
it
Vegas.
is also beloved.
Bellagio still sticks around.
Yeah.
And now they got
with the fountains and the yacht.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Little Yachty, I call him because he's small.
Little Yachty.
Yeah.
Is there something from Las Vegas history that you genuinely wish would come back?
Yeah.
What, Andrew?
Also, hashtag unpopular opinion, but I actually enjoyed MGM Grand Adventures theme park at the MGM.
Same.
And it was
same.
It was. I thought, in a weird way, it was ahead of its time. It would fit in the Vegas of 2025 just perfectly.
Yeah.
It was basically, Sarah. It was a theme park. It had a log flume.
It was sort of a Knott's Berry Farm.
Knott's Berry Farm. Yeah.
Level.
They had shops and everything, and
Where?
characters
Characters right behind the MGM. It was part of the property.
I think there's
no idea.
Yeah, I think there's like towers, like luxury towers there now or something like that.
Mhm.
But it closed in 2002. I think I don't remember.
It was early.
But it was definitely family era Vegas thing that they said didn't work out. But I found myself going there quite a lot. So
mine, there is a nightclub now that I have not been to because apparently it's ridiculously exclusive. You can't take pictures there. It's very expensive. Bruno Mars runs it. I think it's called the Pinky Room.
Pinky Ring. Yeah.
Pinky
Oh,
Ring.
sure.
Yeah. And then there's another one at the Fountain Blue, the Poodle Room or something, whatever. Look, I missed the day when sort of hyper lounges would experiment, but they were for the people. And I'm specifically remembering a very short-lived one that was at the Venetian. It was called the Venus. I think I might have mentioned it before.
Okay.
They had 2 rooms. One was like a little small tiki side room where burlesque dancers kind of did their thing. And then the big room, we were introduced to artists like Richard Cheese for the very first time. They had these beautiful lush curtains. And I don't remember if they had lush curtains or not, but I wanted to say the word curtain in every single topic that we had. But that said, it was this beautifully acquainted room. We used to dress up and go there, and it didn't cost us an arm and a leg. And we got some great, innovative entertainment. And I wish it would have gone on forever. But that one, unfortunately, opened literally on 9/11/2001.
Ooh.
So
how long did it last?
3 months. But it was a glorious 3 months.
That's short-lived even by Vegas standards.
And then it turned into a bunch of different things. It went on in a different iteration. And then eventually it became the Vivid Porn Star Lounge, which wasn't a thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
At any rate, long story short, I want those kind of concepts to come back. Experiment casinos, be innovative. And for the people. Get us back on the streets.
What I want to come back, and I'm going to kick it all the way back to 1906. Bring back sex work.
1 year into the game.
Legalize it. Legalize it. Sex work is work. Bring back a legal sex work district in Clark County.
Yeah.
Come on, our ladies and gents and everyone else deserve it. Okay. David, before we go, we've got one last news item I know you have a personal tie to. A Vegas musician who made it big on the Jimmy Kimmel Show has just passed. What can you tell us about Cleto Escobedo?
The third, a.k.a. Junior. So, yeah, I mean, look, if you want an amazing 20 minutes of like fond recollection of someone's best friend, go watch the Jimmy Kimmel monologue. Cleto Escobedo was a kid who grew up in Las Vegas, had a storied career, went on to record his own album, toured with Paula Abdul, and of course for the last 23 years has been the band leader of the Jimmy Kimmel Show. They were best friends starting basically junior high, high school, whatever. I knew Cleto actually quite well. We were in elementary school together. We were in Cub Scouts together. We spent a lot of time. So sad to see him go at the early age of 59. He had a brief sickness so to Cleto Escobedo's family and friends, especially his dad, Cleto Jr., and his mom, Sylvia, who I remember from elementary school days, sincerest of condolences to you.
All right. And last thing before we wrap on this mega episode today, we want to share a few shout outs from our neighbors. That's our membership program. So Shaymond M. loves the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Boulder City. I haven't been yet. I really want to. He shouts out their great volunteers and amazing work and says, come ride the train. Oh, I think it just says come ride the train, honestly. Pro tip, the seasonal options are in high demand, so book them now. Tim W. has high praise for Jive Turkey, one of our favorite bars as well, which he says on the outside looks just like the surroundings, but walk through the door and into the sense you're in the neighborhood joint with all your neighbor friends. He loves the chicken and short rib sandwiches and the fries. Also, Tim says he's not a drinker, but goes to Jive Turkey for the vibes and the jives. And he says, I suspect David Figler would read this and respond with total affirmation. Just give me a big David Figler.
Agreed.
Lynn B gives her a shout out to Daily Bread by the Lakes in Summerlin. She says, Chef Scott makes fresh sourdough bread and bakery items every day. I do love a pastry, so I got to make it up there. And if you want to shout out your favorite local business or nonprofit, you can join us at membership.citycast.fm. David and Andrew, thank you so much for being with us today. We really did a mega dose of the news.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was fun, though.
Yeah. Loading dose of news.
And that is all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Our executive producer is Sonia Cho Swanson. Our producer is Layla Mohammed. Our newsletter editor is Rob Katchel-Reese. And our roving newsletter editor is Adrian Gonzalez. Our hosts are David Figler and me, Sarah Lohman. Music is by OG Moose, Bagel, Spring Gang, The New Fools, Dusty Decks, courtesy of Epidemic Sound, Hip Color, courtesy of Triple Scoop, and all the kimonos. We record this show in the traditional homelands of the Namuvi, the Southern Paiute people. If you enjoyed this show, share it with a friend. You can rate our show and leave us a review wherever you get your pods, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Las Vegas. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Take care. Music is by OG Moose, Bagel. God damn it. Music is by OG Moose, Bagel, Spring Gay.
Wow, she's lost her shit. It took 3 years, but she's gone. She's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Lohman.
Her mind is pudding.
We remember.
Bagel.
Quick, get her some health care.
Guess what? CityCast has some news. I'm Sean McPherson, the host of CityCast Twin Cities.
And I'm Jane Sihu, and I'm the host of CityCast Seattle. Hey, if you have a friend in one of our cities, can you text them for us?
Yeah, something, simple like, hey, how's that rash doing? And do you listen to podcasts? Because I have one you're definitely going to like. After that, tell them that CityCast has helped you become more informed, more involved, and more connected to your amazing city.
We're going to help that person you know in Seattle who's been trying to make friends.
And we're also going to do that for that guy you only kind of knew in college who moved back to the Twin Cities after graduation.
Don't we all have that guy?
Yeah, and usually that guy is named Todd.
So did you text them yet?
Jane, let's just wait a minute. We don't want to rush anybody. We'll do a little small talk. How's everything going in Seattle?
Beautiful, beautiful. Fall leaves popping. How about Twin Cities?
Today, beautiful and sunshiny in St. Paul. Okay, Jane, I bet they are done texting by now, and I just want to remind them, hey, you, please tell that friend to subscribe to CityCast Twin Cities or Seattle, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or if you don't want to text them and you're really just on Instagram sending them DMs all the time with like funny videos, send them a DM of our latest videos. You can find us at CityCast Twin Cities or CityCast Seattle on Instagram. Thanks.